that is easier. You're also referred to as a tiger on the field, and we know as a gentleman of it. Dada played football in his earlier days, got memorized with cricket a little later. Any Bengali, and I see in the front row, many of them sitting, football is their first love.
I think they have grown up watching football.
Yes, that's right.
I'm sitting in the front row and many at the back who've come from Calcutta like me have grown up watching football till cricket took over.
In the north balcony, and little was known that even Paji wanted to take off his shirt at that time, and Dravid was there. I don't know whether that is true or not. There you see him.
Toss. They go for the single this time. A throw on this, they're getting it back for two. India in one. Lords goes wild. Zaya, come on, punches the air.
I don't know what he was saying there, but I can get
And there were three of them in the team who were standing next to me and saying, "Ki, main bhi kar loon? There were two very sober gentlemen, Dilyesh Lakshman and Rahul Dravid. And I could literally see Harbhajan was about to take his shirt off and Rahul was pulling it. That was the mix we had in the team. On one side there were those, street fighters like probably me, Harbhajan, Yuvraj, Sehwag, bit from the north, and then there was those good boys from the south of previous Lakshman and Rahul Dravid, who would do things in the right way. So I think that was the best part of the team we had. We had players from all over. Sachin would stay at the back and he would say, "Tu bhi kar le, tu bhi kar le." And that was the best, and there were great moments though. In Nairobi, where we lost to New Zealand in the finals. So it was my first big series as captain against the mighty Australians, and I was very nervous, and I'll be absolutely honest about it. So in the first test in Bombay, I was very undecided whether to play an extra spinner or an extra fast bowler. So toss was at 9 o'clock, and I took the team from the team manager and I said, "Ab 10 लिख दीजिए, 11वां में जाते भर लूँगा." Because I wasn't sure because I had to hand over the team at toss, and I wasn't sure before I even was getting out of the dressing room one more extra spinner or one more extra fast bowler. So I just took the pen and paper, and then I realized I forgot my blazer, the Indian blazer. And Steve was already there waiting. So I had to go in and get my blazer, and I got late. So he did not tell me anything, and obviously he wasn't very happy about it. We won the toss and we batted. I picked the team and handed it over. Coincidentally, the same thing happened. And he said, "You got to be on the toss on time, right? The TV is waiting, I am waiting, and you're strolling onto the cricket field." So I realized that he was very upset. I couldn't tell him anything because he hammered us in the first test match in Bombay. Then we won the second test in Calcutta, and then he wrote a column in the newspaper that the Indian captain had to learn how to be disciplined and be at the toss at the right time. So he could make out as a unit.
Wow.
He wasn't too happy about it. So in Chennai, I went late. And he walked into the ground and he did not go to the pitch. He stood halfway between the pitch and the boundary row. So I walked in about a minute late at 9 o'clock. So as I joined him, and he looked at me like this and said, "You're 1 minute late." I said, "No, Steve, your watch is 1 minute fast. It's still 9 o'clock. And then it went on and on. We won the test in Chennai and we got a bit annoyed. And we went back to Australia in 2003, the big test series as captain, where I got 100 in Brisbane. It was Steve's last. We finished the match referees conference before the start of the test series. So as we walked out of the match referees room before the first test, he took me aside and said, "It's my last series, let's be on time at the top." So I said, "You don't abuse me in the paper, you don't talk bad things about my team in the paper, I'll be there 5 to 9 and not 9. But he was such a champion player, and off the field, so much respect I had for him. And to be honest, on the England as well. You know, he is one who made that team invincible. In Australia with 30 for 3 and Steve Waugh coming out to bat at number 5. Now he would stand up more number of times than not. And for such a player, such a captain, you generate so much respect and you develop so much respect. And then I've met him many a number of times after that, and I sincerely tell you that whatever I did on that field, some was under pressure, being under pressure, some I realized that he was under pressure, but the respect for that player was unbelievable. For career. Now, when I first played my Test cricket in England in '96, I saw that footage on the big screen here. I was under pressure to make a name for myself.
Yes.
Then I played for a little while. Then I was under pressure to to take my team forward when I became captain. And then when I played over a period of 10 years, I was under the pressure of expectations. कि यार गांगुली खेलेगा, तेंदुलकर खेलेगा, द्रविड़ खेलेगा, उनको तो बनाना ही है. नहीं बनाएगा तो क्या कर लिया? बनाया तो ठीक है यार, इतने साल खेल लिए, अब नहीं बनाएगा तो कब बनाएगा? लेकिन नहीं बनाया तो अभी भी नहीं बनाता. So you had to go through that pressure, and I think when I finished playing, I'll just go back and forth a little bit. When I finished playing, retired in the year 2013 from all forms of cricket, 3-4 months down the line, I used to do a whole lot of things, probably make more money I did when I was playing. One journalist took an interview of mine and asked me a question, that what do you miss the most? And you've played almost 500 games for India, probably you, Dravid and Tendulkar are in the history of Indian cricket played the most number of games, but what do you still miss? And I honestly told him, when I used to wake up at 7:30 in the morning and had to leave the ground for a test match or a one-day match, I miss that something which goes inside your body. Ki by 4:30 in the evening, you're either a success or a failure.
Wow.
By 4:30
In the evening.
And it was real time. I did not have chance of a retake. If I nicked a delivery outside, why me? Anybody, Kohli, Rohit Sharma. If I nicked a delivery outside of a Glenn McGrath, I could not come back and bat again. But in the life after that, whether I did various things which you just read out, I always had the chance to correct it. If I made a mistake at 10 o'clock, I had the chance at 10:30 to correct it. But if I nicked a delivery early morning at 10 o'clock, I could not bat at 10:30. So I said, I miss that challenge. I miss that day in, day out training at the nets. A fast bowler runs at you. You stand in between Shoaib Akhtar and Moin Khan, and he's bowling at 160 kilometers an hour. And you not just have to play, you have to score, and you have to win the game for India. So it's just the next level. And it's a very small mindset. You take guard and you stand in between a McGrath or a Lee or a Shoaib who's bowling at that pace. Either your mind switches to a thought, yaar lag gaya to kya hoga? Or you switch your mind, and it's a fraction of a second कि कुछ नहीं होगा. जितना तेज डालेगा उतना तेज में मारेगा. So that challenge would never.
Wow, man! Wow, what a golden.
That challenge was always, and it was a one-ball game.
It's a one-ball game.
You are a fraction of a second late to a Brett Lee delivery or a Shoaib Akhtar delivery.
You're done.
You're gone. Either you get hit, you break bones, or you get out, or people say you can't play fast bowling. So it was that challenge which you missed once you finished. And I realized, and I know there are a lot of senior people here, and a lot of young people who are starting their careers as well. Pressure is something you have to learn to deal with. And you realize that the more you put yourself under pressure, over a period of 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or a year, you will not feel it anymore. But if you see pressure and turn your face away, it does not go away from you. I'll tell you a small incident when I say it. I was a middle order batsman. Till I played for India, I never opened in my life. So I remember Sachin coming to me and saying in one of the matches against South Africa, he said, "Yaar, हमारे opening batsmen चल नहीं रहे. You bat at number 3 in Test matches. Why don't you open?" I was a young player, 1.5 years into my international career. I didn't have the guts to tell him anything. I said, "Yeah, you're captain. Whatever you decide." I opened. and never looked back from there. So I believe, and I say it to all of you, that pressure actually makes you better.
Nice.
Sometimes when
Nice.
sometimes all of us want to enjoy our comfort zone. We practice, we train, we do our studies. We are very good in certain departments of our life. But when your boss or when your captain just pulls you out of the comfort zone and says कि ये आपको करना है, ये नहीं. For the fraction of a moment or for a few days or a few months, you feel, yeah, why me? But you actually realize the best out of you. I can guarantee you, Sachin would not have been the player he was if he hadn't opened in one-day cricket. I would not have been the player I was if I hadn't opened in one-day cricket. And for me, the biggest example was Virender Sehwag. You know, he came into an Indian team when Dravid was 3, Tendulkar was 4, Ganguly was 5, and Lakshman was 6. He wouldn't get to play again. And he would sit on the benches, and being so exceptionally talented, I went up to him and one day and said, Viru, tu kab tak bahar baitha rahega? You're such a fantastic player and you can't get a game. Why don't you open? He said, नहीं, मैं open नहीं किया हूँ. मेरा career आप खराब कर दोगे. मैंने कहा कुछ नहीं होगा. तू कोशिश कर. अगर नहीं हुआ तो फिर नीचे आके खेल लेना. And he became one of the greatest opening batsmen India has produced after very heavily in Calcutta. So we were just sitting and chatting. So he said something which I remembered all my life. He said, you know, when I came first into the movie world, I used to do films which everyone rejected. जब सबके पास घूम के मना कर देते थे, जो मैं ही पढ़ा था, और जब मेरे पास आते थे मैं करता था उसको. करके करते एक नाम बना मेरा. And I think those words have such great meaning that no work is small. You just have to do it to get the next step.
Very important for all of us here who are sitting to be able to understand that this pressure is actually good. It will make you more smarter, and what Dada said is that once you live through that pressure, next time you don't feel it. You know that I have done this, I can't do it again. But if you've not encountered it, then it is going to be a big challenge.
You know, a lot of people ask me during my career, because I dealt with some great players. I was fortunate enough to captain India, a team which had Sachin, Rahul, Anil, BVS, Harbhajan, Sehwag, later Dhoni came in, who in their own rights would have captained India. And obviously I had the final authority to pick the team, pick the final 11. And I would times leave great players out. So many times I've left Anil Kumble out, and he wouldn't feel happy about it. And I would know it. You know, the hardest thing was to, at 7 o'clock in the evening, the day before the game, I would go up to him and say, Anil, will we restrict this game? And I could still visualize that look on his face. Those eyes telling me, I'm Anil Kumble and I don't get a game. But you'd rather play with those such players who, when you drop, and who will come and tell you, why am I not playing? Rather than people who you drop, they say, okay, no problem, I'll be ready for the next game.
But that's so difficult. These are deep friends of yours.
Yeah, but they understand. Only 11 can play. I have a decision to make. They understand the game as well because of the conditions. The easiest way of picking teams is when you play in India. Those spinner खिला लो बाकी. But जब भी बाहर गए, Australia गए, South Africa गए, जहाँ पे green pitches, fast bowlers come into the game, that's when the struggle starts of picking 2 of your best players. But I would rather have both of them in my squad rather than one. And at times when selectors have said कि एक spinner लेके चलो, मैंने कहा नहीं दोनों को चाहिए, because I have the option to play both. And I don't mind it, because at the end of the day, when I sit in the evening and I pick that 11, I do what my heart tells me. Okay, in these conditions, X is better than Y, or Y is better than X, and I do that to take that decision with the best interest of the team. So once that happens, I don't think it's a problem because players also understand. At the end of the day, they get upset that why am I not playing? But then when they see the conditions, when they see how it is going, they understand why that decision was taken.
Well, Dada, you said a couple of things.
Isn't it? That's what you train for. You won't win all the time, you won't lose all the time. So when you lose, you have to find a way to get back and win, and that's why you train. All of you must have seen the great Sachin play. He must have played how many? 700 games for India, probably more. I've actually lost count. He's got 100 international hundreds. That means the remaining 500 games, he's not performed up to his expectations. But the day he got in, the day he got set, he made it a big one. So that you remember that forever. And I think that's what it's about, winning and losing. Because you will not win all the time, you will not lose all the time. But it's like a boxer in the ring. You know, it's not the number of times you get hit, but it's the number of times you get up.
Get up. Yeah.
And I think that's what sport is all about. You know, the best thing this game has done to me, other than giving me the name and the respect and the recognition for a long period of time, it has taught me about life also. Because sport is real time. You know, you start from scratch, you're under pressure, you're expected to do well, you do well, you get to another level of pressure, then you become a leader. The pressure goes to another level because people expect you to take that team to win. And then when you get past an age, it's about proving that it's still not over. So you go through that system all throughout your career. So when you finish it, when you go through that circle of up, down, you actually come out as a better human being. So when you're put in tough situations in life, crises in life, actually you get that strength from within. Ki nahi sambhal leंगे.
Nice.
Because you know, you may get a test match 100, you may get a one day 100, but the next innings you're starting from 0. That has no meaning except giving you confidence and only adding to your records as a player. So it's a great learning experience in life because all what you do is real. You work hard, you train, you stay fit, and then you go and perform. So it actually transforms your career, character, over a long period of time, and sportsmen finish early. You know, at least in cricket, we are fortunate enough that we go on to play till we are 40. In tennis, in football, the greatest finish at 31, 22, and for a lot of us, it's just the start of our lives. At the age of 31, 32, you have a whole life to live, and then you go on to different things in life. And the first thing when you're given a challenge to do, कि Saurabh, Ganguly, Sachin, Dravid, आपको ये करना है, the first thought which comes to your mind is नहीं कर सकते. That is most important. उसके बाद you learn, you train, you do the day in day out effort, and then you master that.
First is in the mind.
First is नहीं कर लेंगे. ऐसा नहीं सोचते कि हमसे नहीं होगा. Because that circle of those 15-20 years has taught you to do that. Because there was no guarantees, there was no certainties, and you had to get up every morning and deliver. I think that's what sport teaches you, that nothing is permanent. You have to make sure that you turn up and perform all the time.
You have to get up every morning and deliver. I think that is what the mantra is.
Even after delivering a project, we might have been sold out, but get up again,
And then yes,
expect again and deliver again. That's what.
As I go through this, I get a tweet mentioned by Credai Natcon. Yes, it's none other than Ganguly at Credai Natcon, or Dada as we like to call him, but please apne andar hi rakhna. It happened to me in 2006 when I was captain, and I was asked to leave and not even picked in the team in the next series. In spite of getting 100 in the series against Zimbabwe, I was left out for 4 or 5 months and then came back and played for another 4 years. The reason I say this is because, you know, we played in a very competitive sport, and once you get left out of the team, you just go down the ladder and somebody else takes your place. I used to remember my father who was obsessed with the game. Even Dravid's father was so obsessed with the game. You know, Dravid never got 100 in Bangalore, and he used to feel a lot of pressure of not scoring runs. So he would allow his father to come to the ground. Okay, you don't turn up to the ground because every time I see your face, I just don't play well. And I saw that gentleman sitting in one corner in probably the most cheapest of the stand to see Rahul get a test match 100 in Bangalore. So our parents were like that. And I remember my dad coming and telling me when I was dropped, he said, you know, you'll not get picked again. India has so much talent, India wins all the time, your time will not come. I said, maybe, may not be. I said, I'll give it a try. I was 35 then, 35 years old, and I said, if I don't try, and I get to the age of 40, I will never be able to play again because your body will not allow you to play. And I don't want to finish at the age of 35 saying that when it was tough, when I got dropped, because before that 11 years I played every game, captain for 7 years, the draft was always going up. So I said, you know, if I don't try and And at the age of 40, when I sit on the sofa with no chance of playing, I should not be telling myself, yeah, when the chips were down, you did not, hold on. I was out for about 7-8 months. I came back after 7-8 months and then went on to play for another 4 years. The day I finished, and it was in Nagpur, and I went and told the teammates that I'm going to finish after this test. So I remember one of my colleagues came up to me and said that, why did you finish? I said, I've had enough. And I think young players should come in. I'm not getting younger. He said, this is the best I've seen you play in the last, in all this 15 years. 15 years I've seen you bat for India. I said, yeah, maybe I also feel the same because I got lots of runs in those 4-5 years, hundreds, double hundreds. And the reason I tell you all this is, when I got dropped and when I came back, I realized that I was not non-touchable anymore. I realized that, I'm under scanner. I realized that I have to stand up every series, which was not the case 12 years before. I could go through a little bit of a dodgy series and still get a place in the team because of being captain. And I realized that if I don't perform every series, I may not play the next one. And I was in trial all the time. And a lot of people in this room will get to a situation in life. Once you get older, once newer people come in, once you get to 60, 65, your shelf life is a bit more than mine because I'm an athlete. In those situations, sometimes you realize your best. All of us when we grow up, all of us when we get into a professional world, we need support. We need an arm around us saying that, I'm with you, I'll support you in your career, you will do well. But there are times when that goes away. And you start working harder. And I remember I used to train a lot, I used to keep running, I used to keep getting fitter and fitter because I realized that and I realized that I played the best in those 4 years. The reason I say this is because when the chips are down, when people start believing that they're not good enough anymore, when people start believing that a younger guy is probably more important to this organization than you, and you still believe that you can do it, you'll actually be better than what you were in your prime. And when you go through these positions, when you go through these situations in your career, don't let it go. All you need to do is stand up and do things a bit more harder than you did when you were at your best, even when you were at your peak, even when you were probably invincible, even when your colleague said that his organization runs because of him. And it's never over till you actually believe it's over. The day you lose the fight within you, that day you lose the fight with the world. And I've seen that in my career. Even when I finished the last test and I was scoring runs at will, obviously I was not happy when I left and when I finished playing because I'm a sport player. Because when I saw him bat at the other end, I thought, yeah, तेरा भी standard ऊपर करना पड़ेगा. एक साइड में वर्ल्ड क्लास खेल रहा है और दूसरा साइड पे ऑर्डिनरी खेल रहा है. तो he actually got me lift my game. So I think such a.
What was more challenging, test in Australia or test in England?
Australia.
Captain of India or BCCI president?
No, captain.
India win in Calcutta Test 2001 at home or India win at Lords in NatWest final 2002?
2001 at home because it changed the team. It changed the belief in the team.
Saurabh Ganguly, the entrepreneur, or Saurabh Ganguly, the family man?
The family man.
Oh, wow. Your nightmare of a bowler that you faced?
Muralitharan when he was getting old.
Why did you say that?
Because he got better with age. I played him all my career from 96 till 2010 and I found him the hardest in 2010. And I've scored about 400 or 500s. All of you must have seen I have hit him for innumerable number of sixes. Every morning before a game he would come and tell me, hey Ganguly, don't hit me for sixes. Huh? And then he would get me out. So the older he became, the better bowler he became. So I found Murali the hardest when he was older.
If not cricketer, what would you have been?
I still know. My mother would have sent me to college and I would have probably building a real estate.
Which living person do you most admire?
Which?
Which living person do you most admire?
Sachin.
Really? Wow.
He was special. And I've seen him close. I've seen him get hit in the rib cage to Shoaib. Did not make a noise. Get runs. The next morning he had double fracture in his rib.
Oh.
I heard a sound and I went and asked him, "You're okay?" He said, "Yeah, fine." Next morning he had 2 fractures in the rib and he scored runs for India the other. That same evening. He was special.
Amazing. Wow. One word for women cricket.
It's on the high. Women's cricket will go to a different level in the next 3 years. We did that in the last 3 years. The way they played in Commonwealth Games. I was actually surprised to see the way they competed in the Commonwealth Games. They won the Asia Cup recently. They won, they beat England 3-0 in England, which is never an easy thing to do. Women cricket in India will get to an all-time high in the next 3 years.
Very nice. We're really looking forward to that. We need more gender diversity here as well. My last one, as you have many nicknames, which is your personal favorite?
Saurabh.
Beautiful. Now, with your permission, if we can open it up for a couple of questions to the floor, and then we can wind it up.